Hi, it's Kai and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a half-year project pan update, which it's crazy to think that we're already halfway through the year, but we are. I will link my original project pan, the beginning video, as well as my first quarter 3-month update, but I have honestly made pretty good progress throughout the whole year, as well as even just this past quarter of the year. I don't know, my accounting brain just thinks on quarters, but I feel like I've done a really good job with my project pan. So I'll very quickly run through all of the products that I have already finished. Just as a reminder, my goal was to finish 55% of the original products that I put in, and I'm pretty sure that I'm at I put it originally in 15 and I've finished 7 of them, so I'm almost at 50%. So I just need to finish 2 more in order to hit my goal for the year, which I think is very much so doable. But anyway, the ones that I have finished, which one of them is actually an empty for this one, so we'll just go ahead and talk about it this way. It's Pretty as a Peach from Bath & Body Works. I finally finished this mist. I'm really happy that I finished it. Not because it's a bad mist or anything. It's definitely a juicy, candied, more juvenile type of artificial peach. And I just don't really gravitate towards these type of peach scents anymore. So yeah, I do enjoy it, or enjoyed it for the era of my life that I had it, but I don't think it's something that I would repurchase. I've just tried too many other good peach scents that are actual peach, if that makes sense. But anyway, I will save this for my updated empties video. I also finished the Philosophy Falling in Love mini size. I don't know where I put the bottle though, because I'm pretty sure I put it somewhere to see if I could reuse it. So I don't know where the bottle of that is, but I did finish that mini as well. I also finished the Persona Cosmetics 24/7 waterproof pencil that was in the last video, as well as the Glossier Perfecting Skin Tint, the KVD powder. For another new one that I finished the Tower 28 Bronzino, and I know it looks like there's a little bit of product left in there, but that's honestly 1% product gunked up with 99% cat hair because my brushes just get cat hair on them. If you're a cat owner or a pet owner in general, it happens. So I was just kind of rather than trying to get in there and swirl my brush into the little bit of product that is left, I'm just gonna call this one a finish. And not necessarily my favorite type of bronzer. I don't think I'm a metallic-y, shimmery type of bronzer person, and this one was definitely more metallic-y and shimmery. It was also more a red-ish orange on my skin tone. There was a lot of times where I could use this as a blush and bronzer combined because it pulled so red on me. So it's just not my preferred tone, and this is the shade Best Coast specifically. The last video I finished the Bite Beauty Chai mini lipstick, and that is everything that I have finished so far. So as far as the things that I still have left to finish, for fragrances I finished 2 out of the 4 that I originally put in, and the remaining ones are MixBar Vanilla Bourbon, which honestly I have not worn this one since the last video either. I'm really hoping that in the last bit of the year that I wear this more, but it's just not the type of vanilla I would necessarily go for the spring and summertime. It's definitely a woody, slightly, it's not super boozy in my opinion, even though it says it's bourbon. To me it's more of the bourbon cask. I feel like I've said that before, a liquor cask with a woodiness there, but again, just not what I'm wearing right now. But I have worn at least, I think 2 or 3 times Ellis Brooklyn Myth, this mini size that I have. Again, part of my project pan, I guess, theme is getting rid of duplicates in my collection, and I have a full size of this, so I was like, okay, let me get rid of this little mini travel size or deluxe sample size. I love this one. It's a beautiful, crisp, clean, white floral scent. And I am about halfway through this one. I think I was more so like 3/4 of the way. Or not 3/4, like 1/4 of the way through, so I had 3/4 left approximately, or maybe even 2/3 of it left, but I'm definitely closer to a half now. This is one that I definitely think I'll be able to finish by the end of the year, especially since it's one that is such an easy reach, and it's one that's also really easy to layer with other things. Now for the makeup products, I have the Nude Matte Shadow in Dance the Tides, which I've made good progress on, but with us being halfway through the year, I don't know if this is one that I'm going to be able to finish by the end of the year, because even though the pan definitely is panning, it's pretty big, it just seems like there's so much eyeshadow left. Like these, it feels like this is lasting forever, and I've used it a lot. Admittedly, I haven't been wearing a lot of eyeshadow and just a lot of makeup in general over the past, I would say, 2 months or so. I've kind of been in a little bit of a depressive episode, so I'm trying to, as I'm coming out of that a little bit more, put more into my appearance, but even then it's also hot, like as hell. There's no other way to describe it. Like it's just extremely hot here in Georgia. It's humid. It just feels like my face is gonna slip off anyway, so I'm kind of in that like wearing as little makeup as possible, just because I'm probably gonna look a mess. Like I actually went, and I mean, to be fair, it wasn't in the winter time, like this was back in April, but I had gone on a date where I was like sweating and stuff in my makeup, and I looked a hot mess after coming back. Like I was just kind of like, whoa, because it was just so hot and I was sweating. Anyway, again, I do really like this shadow. I've been using it a lot. It's a great shadow to just throw on the eyelid, especially for someone with my skin tone, but I also like putting it on and then putting like a shimmery type of topper on top of it. I feel like that gives a quick but more put together eyeshadow look. But again, I want to finish this one by the end of the year. I just don't know if it's one that will realistically be finished by the end of the year. And then this Pixi Endless Silky Eye Pen in the shade Black Noir, or maybe it's just black. I think it's Black Noir. But this, I actually realized that I don't love it through the project pan, which is a great thing to do a project pan, because it just tells you like what type of formulas you tend to gravitate toward, what products you actually like and dislike, because you're using it over a prolonged period of time versus, you know, using it a few times and then putting it away for months and then bringing it back out, and that type of cycle. Because I really like this pencil in that it is a really deep dark black pencil. It's also extremely creamy, so it's easy to get like a nice smudged out look, you know, like a smoky look. But if you have someone, or if you are someone, I should say, who has very watery eyes, if you put this in your waterline and your eyes water, it's going to get in your eyes and like start bleeding everywhere. If you're a contact lens wearer, this is going to fog up your contact lenses or like put little marks on them. So it's just something where it's like, I hesitate to use it. Honestly, I try to just use it on my top lid, and more so than anything, I just will take like a little pencil brush and, you know, smudge it in that way to hopefully not get that. But because of that, I actually don't really like this formula, and you know, I'm glad it's something that I discovered, you know what I'm saying? That means I won't buy any more of these in the future, and especially since I have previously said that I did like this formula, you know, I could have gone out and purchased another color, like say a brown one, to replace one of the brown liners that I've finished, and then realized like, hey, I really don't like this formula. Why did I purchase another one? Next up, we have our complexion products. So starting with the Milani Conceal and Perfect Foundation Stick. This is one that I think could be a finish or should be a finish by the end of the year. As you see, I have a little nubbins of the stick left over. It's pretty much my everyday foundation. I'm wearing it right now. I really do like it. It's really nice. I wouldn't repurchase it just because I have so many other foundations that I need to finish up, but it's definitely one that I recommend if you want a stick foundation, because I feel like it blends out pretty nicely and it also doesn't like break up on the skin or anything like that. So you know, like it's creamy without just being slippy and slidey. And even though I do wear a mask, I find that like with powder and other products, that even with wearing a mask, I'll only really get some of the product rubbing off where like the little metal part of the mask is, not the rest of my face. Even if some of the makeup is moved or I can see that it's transferred onto the mask, it's not necessarily disturbed. So this again is a really good foundation. It's one I would repurchase once I finish everything that I currently have, even though I don't know if I've seen this. I feel like I've seen the liquid foundation because I know they repackaged that one semi recently, but I don't feel like I've seen the stick foundation, at least not in store anywhere recently. Let me know if this even still exists. If it doesn't, it should. This is a really good product. It's underrated. Then we've got the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer, and even though this is one where it's difficult to tell any progress because, you know, the bottle, there's concealer all around it, I'm definitely like, I can tell that I'm making good progress. Like if I scrape around the sides, you can see that it's like see-through down to about here. So again, making good progress. This is just one where it's a lot of concealer. This is half a fluid ounce of concealer. That's half of a, you know, standard size of foundation. So I'm surprised that anyone is able to finish this like super duper quickly. But I think that it is one, I don't know if I'll be able to finish it this year, but I hope to finish it at some point. I think I can finish it because as like you can definitely see, like I said, you can see it's getting see-through down there, but it's just a matter of, you know, I guess wearing more makeup and actually putting in the work. I forgot to start with primer. Whoops. This is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, which we're able to see the bottom of the product, of the tub, the pan, if you will, even though it's not metal. So this is a product where I actually feel like I notice my makeup lasting a little bit better, especially underneath a mask. Again, I feel like it lasts a little bit better when I do use it. I don't know. I always kind of oscillate between feeling like primers don't really do a lot and then feeling like, okay, I feel like this is doing something. So I don't necessarily hate it, and especially with this foundation, I really like these together. Maybe it's just when I had tried this originally, I was trying it with foundations that it just wasn't really meshing as well with as far as the formula, but these two together, maybe because they're both kind of like cream-ish consistencies, they work really well together, and I feel as though, again, my makeup might transfer off onto a mask or transfer off, but it doesn't get that disturbed, like moved around look on my face. Then to replace the KVD powder, we had put in the Kosas Cloud Set in Pillowy, which I have to say, again, I feel like I'm doing really good progress on this one. Before, you know, it was pretty new-ish looking. There's definitely a lot of dents. If I turn it this way, you can tell that there's like hardly any slope to it anymore because, you know, it had like that baked dome consistency or like shape, not consistency, but the only part that does is this over here, and that's kind of where I've been focusing on more lately to kind of slope it off. So this is another one where it's just kind of like, maybe I could finish this by the end of the year, but it also depends on how much product is in the pan, because like obviously the packaging looks pretty thick, but I don't think the product goes all the way down there. So I would say if I can hit pan on this within the next month or so, then it will set me up for this to be a finish by the end of the year. But if I don't, I think this is one that will probably roll into next year. Something that I think is one of the most remarkable bits of progress for me, and it's because I saw a picture on my phone from last year where I first put this in my project pan, and then seeing the pan now, because it was just like a baby sliver of pan, and now I have all of this pan for the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And again, I don't know if I'll be able to finish this one by the end of the year, because I feel like I still have a lot of powder left, and it's one that is pretty densely packed in there. So like, you go in with your brush, you might be swirling. Sometimes I'm swirling, and like products coming up, too much product sometimes, and it still looks like I'm not getting anywhere, but I definitely look more like I'm getting somewhere, especially with the picture that I saw from last year. And I'll try to put it somewhere on the screen, but that's what really motivated me to like try to use this one more, or to put it back in my project pan, because I was like, okay, you know, you have actually made some pretty good progress, even though this wasn't the main thing you've been focusing on even this year so far. So I'm excited to see how much progress I get with this one by the end of the year. The Colourpop Super Shock Cheek in Drop of a Hat is honestly one, like, it's just that little sliver of pan around the outside rim, you know. I feel as though, again, this is one I could see myself finishing by the end of the year, especially if I put in the work. And I feel as though I could finish it because this is a product that I will wear even on the days that I'm not wearing a lot of makeup. I just feel like it gives a nice, like I have it on today. And the Colourpop highlighters, they're not really glittery, they just give a nice glow. Like, they're shimmery, you can see a shimmer to them, but overall on the face they look like just a nice healthy glow. So I wear them even when I'm not wearing overall makeup, or like if I'm going to the pool and stuff like that. So I definitely think this is one that could be a finish by not even just the end of the year, but by the next update video. This blush, I have been using it. Again, it's not one that you can really show how much is left. I feel like if I, you know, get some of the air out of it, that I definitely have less than half of it left. I haven't used it as much as I probably should to finish it up, but it is really pretty. It's just my skin is starting to get deeper for the summertime. You know, I'm getting a little bit of a tan, and this is a product that shows up better on my skin when I'm lighter complected. So I have been mixing it in with other things, like the other blush balm that I have, to try to get, you know, good use out of it and more use out of it. It's also just that because this is a more dewy and liquidy formula, I feel like it's not the most long lasting, and especially in the spring and summertime, it can look a little bit too dewy and honestly like slide around a little bit more than I would like for my blush to do. So I think that's another reason why I haven't been gravitating toward it as much, but it is pretty. Lastly, we have the Buxom, what is this called? Full On Plumping Lip Balm, or actually no, Power Plump Lip Balm. The names of these things. This is the shade Big O, and this is another one. This is how much I have left, you guys. I've just put this in my purse. It's been just my like, oh, I need a little bit of color, because it's one of those pH changing lip balms that looks a little bit pink. Like, I mixed it in with something that was orangey, as you can see, and it gave it more of like a pinky coral type of look to my lips, which is really pretty actually. I like this combo together, but it's so easy to just throw with other things and to just throw on the lips in general. So again, this has been in my purse, in my bag. Another one that I think will be a finish by the end of the year. So with the ones that I think I could finish by the end of the year, let me see. I feel like the ones for sure that I could finish by the end of the year are the Buxom, the Colourpop, the Milani foundation, and Ellis Brooklyn Myth. And then because like I feel like again it's one where I could, there's still a lot of product left, but because we've hit the bottom of the canister, I'm a little bit like, okay, once you hit the bottom or once you hit the pan, sometimes that makes it go faster. I don't know what it is about that, unless it's the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This just lasts forever. But I do really think that even though I probably won't finish this, that I'll put some more good progress in. I'm not sure about the Flower Beauty blush, not 100% sure about the concealer, just because, like I said, there's a lot of product in that concealer. And another one that's kind of like a toss-up, I would say, is the eyeshadow. I could finish it, but it's a little bit like, how densely packed is the rest of this product? But anyway, that is my project pan update. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I want to hear what you finished in your project pan, what is giving you grief, what products are not, you know, finishing the way that you want them to be. But I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy whenever you are watching this video and after you're watching this video as well. Anyway, let me just sign off because obviously I need to stop talking. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.